The time has come. Aaron Clocker has finally been re-released after becoming the rarest next-gen Piston Cup racer Mattel has ever released. To give you some brief history on the next-gen revolting racer, he was only previously available in this online exclusive 5-pack with a few other re-releases back in late 2017. And by online, I mean only available on Mattel.com and Amazon. And even though Mattel doesn't announce how many of every car they make, I would say there were no more than 4,000 to 5,000 of Aaron produced during this time, putting him on the level of a super chase in terms of rarity. And so after that release, there were practically none ever on eBay. Maybe one would pop up here and there as an auction, and it would go for a lot of money, way more than what he retailed for. So obviously creating a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype around the character. And so now so many people, myself included, even though I was fortunate enough to get one, are very happy to see him being re-released in the 2020 mainline as a single, making him probably tremendously easier to acquire. So welcome back, guys, to another Disney Docket presentation. Of course, today we're going to be reviewing the Aaron Clocker Next Gen Revolting Racer from Thailand now, because the previous release I was just discussing was made in China. And I did review it way back when it was released in the 12 Days of Christmas series on my channel. And so I will put that link in the description below, along with the card suggestion pop-up in the top right-hand corner. But this video will focus on the differences between the two, because as you can already tell, I mean, there are so many differences between Thailand and China, especially when it comes to the next gens. And if you guys missed it, I just unboxed 2020 Singles Case G. That's right, we're already at Case G and it's not even May yet. And so I'll put that link also in the description and the card suggestion pop-up. So that's where Aaron Clocker came from, along with some other pretty cool releases like Metallic Jonas Carvers, who I will be reviewing soon, and also a nice re-release of Claude Scruggs, who I also will be reviewing soon, because he is, as well as Aaron, quite a bit different from his original release. So without any more rambling, let's get right into the review here now of Mr. Clocker. So first of all, I love his artwork. It's pretty standard for a next gen, but still it looks really cool, and you can really get a good look at the pattern within his paint job there, the pluses and minus signs, obviously kind of resembling, you know, a battery, the north and south ends of a battery and the poles and whatnot. So that's really, really cool to see. Positive and negative sides. He is, of course, in the Next Gen Piston Cup Racers series, which has been a pretty phenomenal series over the course of its, last 2 years. Will the impressive Next Gen Racers break Lightning McQueen's winning streak? Yes, they will. Spoiler alert. So there's Rusty's McQueen talking to, or not really talking to, but just looking at Danny Suarez there, who surprisingly has not been released in this series and hasn't been released in quite some time. Chris Roman, Cam Spinner, you can see, I believe that's Herb Kerbler back there, and H.J. Hollis along with the remaining stock cars. And on the back here, you can see Ryan Inside Laney, Harvey Rodcap, we'll talk about him in a second, Paul Conrad, and Conrad Camber, who Conrad was also in this case, but he was included in Case F as well. So that was his first time being released from Thailand. Now, what's interesting about Harvey is that he was also only available in an online 10-pack, so just, a bigger pack, but it was still online. And so he was also very, very rare, and making his re-release a few months ago extremely popular. However, they made a ton of him, and so he actually is now a little bit of a peg warmer, because I guess people just don't really want him. They got as many as they needed, and hopefully that happens to Aaron Clocker, so there's not another shortage of him. But maybe not the same thing happened to him, but something a little bit, drawn back a little bit, so I don't get tired of seeing him on the pegs. And the same thing kind of happened with Paul Conrad too, because he was only available in a Walmart 5-pack. So what's the pattern? Mattel is re-releasing a lot of their first looks that came out about 2 years ago. So what does that mean? Maybe Bobby Road Testa, Bruce Miller, Lane Locke, T-Bone could get re-releases soon as well. All right, I'll be right back with Aaron all opened up. So here we have the Thailand version of Aaron on the right and the Chinese version on the left. And we're going to do an extensive comparison between the two in a couple moments here. But first, I do want to show where Aaron appeared in Cars 3. So as you can see right there, background character, didn't speak in the movie, but as with all the next gens, I mean, we just love Piston Cup racers. And so the popularity of them soar, despite them not really being like main or even supporting characters in the movies, but it's just kind of what happens to all the Piston Cup racers. So yeah, he actually had a couple good shots in there, more than, I don't know, Rev and Go, Vinyl Toupee, Experiment, some of the other ones that kind of drift off into the background. Leakless too, Leakless is tough. Anyways, though, getting onto the comparison between the two of them here, first off, you can see that the Thailand version is quite a bit glossier. The paint just, it's a little shinier. And, you know, they've been doing this for years now from Thailand, or just actually a year and 3/4 about. And the Chinese always had a little bit more of a flat finish, but not matte, but just a little flatter, if you guys know what I'm saying. The eye expression is pretty much the same, but being now from Thailand, it is a separate piece, meaning that the eye plate is not part of the body, and so it's a plastic insert there from inside the base. And with China, the eyes were always a part of the body. Now, unfortunately, this makes them look a little bit out of uniform because the shade of the eyelid doesn't always match the paint, but they did a pretty good job here. The graininess, though, of the eyelid isn't phenomenal, though, but it is what it is. Take a look at the hood here. You can see that they changed the revolting background from this kind of gunmetal chrome gray to black, which is interesting. I don't exactly know which is accurate to the movie. It kind of seems like a mix between the two, but I don't know. It's a nice change of pace to see it in black. The revolting logo stands out quite a bit more on black. So you can see it's a bright red there, and you can just barely see the text beneath it that says rebuilt alternators. So that is what revolting does. And here, being from China, the detail or the decals are a little bit clearer, but still that rebuilt alternators text is super small. So whichever way you cut it, it's still going to be a little difficult to read. Now, one thing that stands out to me immediately here is that Thailand, you could definitely spot the pluses and minus signs, you know, the positive and negatives within his paint scheme a lot easier than you can in China. Whereas, you know, with China, it's kind of like they just blended everything together. Just kind of put dots in there. But Thailand, they definitely went to the extent of actually putting the positives and negatives in there, which is really cool. Thailand gets some points for that. You can see the vents down here on the left and right. They're a little different shape. The grille is separate, or I don't know, it's a little bit attached to the headlights, but it doesn't seem as thickly attached, or I don't know, did I just say thickly attached? But you can tell that this is definitely more apparently attached versus these two. Anyway, though, moving on to the sides here, both have black rims with Lightyear tires, so that didn't change. Let's see how the contingency sponsors look. So we have Thailand up top, China on the bottom. They actually don't look that bad. If you guys don't know, Thailand struggles with decals and clarity, especially with the smaller ones, but Piston Cup, Combustor, Carbon Fiber, and Synergy look pretty good there. They do look slightly better from China, though. What does look better to me, in my opinion, is that instead of this like dark red right here, it's this much brighter red shade combined here with a black and white stripe and another red line there. So pretty much they changed this gunmetal gray to black and this maroon or crimson color to a bright red. So this makes the 48 number stand out a lot more. By the way, there's the arrow indicating to the pit crew where to lift Aaron up at to change the tires. exhaust pipes there, which are indented and they kind of stick out a little bit, which is pretty cool. They look better than Chinese exhaust pipes. You can still see the positives and negatives throughout his paint. Taking a look now at the roof. You can see the roof flaps. Again, 48 stands out quite a bit more. Not so sure how I feel about the black stripe versus the kind of chrome stripe, but still, doesn't look terrible. So now this side's slightly different than the other side, which is really cool. It's one of the few next gens that has different decals on different sides. So you can see it looks like that there. And then here, everything shifts toward the back a little bit more. You can just check that out. Really cool. The light year on the tires is not that clear though. Not as clear as the China one. Taking a look now at the spoilers. So again, the red is quite a bit brighter. And again, like I said, it looks clearer because it's brighter. It does say rebuilt alternators underneath the text there. Very small though, so it's hard to read. Same thing with the Thailand version, but actually, I'd say that this rebuilt alternators is much easier to read than this. I don't know if it's because it's clearer or if it's because it's brighter, but regardless, I like that spoiler better. No window bars. Window bars. On the bumper here, you got the rookie racing stripes, the yellow stripes there. 48 in that brighter red, which again, clearer than that. That does not look clear to me at all over there. Yeah, they did a terrible job actually with that 8. They didn't even like punch the holes in it, so it just looks like a blob. 4 blob. The revolting logo over there on the right looks pretty good. Yeah, I have to say the Thailand version definitely looks better because the red is just so much brighter and therefore it's just simply easier to read. I do think it is accurate to the movie that way. I don't think he had such a dark red. So I actually am quite a big fan of this Aaron Clocker, and stay tuned for the end of the video for me to give him a grade. But before that, I do want to show the evolution of the revolting racers. So here on the left is Davey Apex from Cars 1, or alternators, whichever you want to say. I like to call him Davey Apex just because alternators is already in the revolting title, which is a little strange to me that his last name would be exactly what his company or his sponsor produces. A little strange. Then in the middle is TG Castlenut, who actually is another first look. So both Cars 3 revolting racers were first looks when they were first released. TG has not gotten a re-release, but he's not as rare as Aaron. Now, what's very interesting, and another reason why I like the Thailand version more, is because if you look here at Davey, you can see on his roof there, he's got the plus and minuses, the positives and negatives all meshing together, giving, the idea of, revolting and, rebuilt alternators and stuff like that. Batteries, essentially. Same thing on TG here. Very similar design to Davey. These stock cars are some of the closest in design that you'll see when comparing Cars 1 and Cars 3 stock cars. Same thing with Nitroid and Leakless. But if you look at Vinyl Toupe, those are extremely different. Again, gaskets is another very similar one. And so that positive and negative carries over into Aaron's entire paint job very subtly, but you can still see it wherever you look. With the Chinese version, you can't. It doesn't really look like that. It looks just kind of like dots, like a texture. So another reason why I like Aaron a little bit more. Let me know in the comment section below which revolting racer is your favorite. I definitely have to go with TG Castlenut because I love the bright red on him, and the gray rims are also pretty sweet. But Aaron is a close second. I never was a huge fan of Davey though. Fun fact about this Davey I have here is that it's actually the original release in that 4-pack way back in 2008. So he has seen better days. He's always had this chip on the spoiler though. I didn't do that to him. he came that way. I remember that's bothered me for a decade now. Actually, 12 years. Wow, I'm old. Anyways, so there's a little comparison between the 3 revolting racers. If you guys remember, I used to have a revolting hauler, a custom one, that I reviewed actually a few years ago, and I'll toss that link in the description, as well as the card suggestion if you'd like to check it out. But I actually recently sent that hauler to Jim Scavenger to redo, because the decals on the one before were starting to peel, and I didn't like that. So Jim Scavenger is going to redo it, and maybe I'll do another video on it, but I just wanted to let you know that's why I don't have them for the video. But anyways, my grade for Aaron Clocker is an A-. The only thing I don't like about him is the eyes. I don't think they look that phenomenal, and I'm not entirely sold on the black, but I definitely prefer the brighter red. It looks phenomenal, and I love the pluses and minuses in his paint scheme. So let me know your thoughts on Aaron in the description below. Who do you think had a better transition from China to Thailand, Aaron Clocker or Tim Treadless? Both of them, had extreme differences, as you can see here. So it's very interesting to, see all these changes between the 2 countries. And also, I did want to show him in comparison to Jonas Carver's, because they are the only 2 red next gens. They are very similar in paint scheme, red and maroon and crimson. And just for laughs and giggles, here is my next gen Lightning McQueen from Jim Scavenger, custom. So I guess maybe 3 red next gens. We'll call it that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Aaron and the Chinese version and all that good stuff. I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. I'm pretty sure it's going to be something a little special. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But then, yeah, Jonas Carver's this week. Claude Scruggs coming soon as well. So a lot of awesome stuff on the channel. Thank you so much for the support lately. Please keep it up. 50,000 subscribers special will also be coming soon. So stay tuned. See you guys tomorrow. Bye now. Thought I forgot to show the original revolting racer, Leroy Hemming. Wow. Just wow.